following podcast is recorded and produced by the Podcast Precinct in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com. The Podcast Precinct. Consistency, creativity, culture.
The Nostalgia Funhouse proudly dedicates all episodes in the loving memory of Connie Chirac. So, Johnny, I've been hearing really great things about this Nostalgia Funhouse. It just brings back so many great memories.
Andrew, the only reason I'm moving in line with you here is that you really vouched for this show. So I'm just going to believe you that this is the show that I've been wanting, which is just talking about all the fun stuff from our yesteryear and the years before. And I really hate anything meta, so I'm glad that what we're doing right now is not that.
Oh, no, definitely. What is meta? Isn't that Ron Artest's new name?
Well, add world and peace to it, sure.
Yeah, but this is great. They last year they were tearing play sets and Halloween costumes.
Well, that sounds cool.
They get these weird court recordings from pop culture courts.
Does anybody care about court cases?
These ones are kind of cool. They put Scott Kelvin on trial. Poor old Santa Claus there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, man. You know what's the best part about this is, though? Is I hear they always got a really great sponsor. You can check it out right there.
Pops presents the Little Rascals.
Stop eating those pops! We got some! Can't help it! He's fruity. Well, force yourself! A custard!
What's this?
New Jello Gelatin Pops.
Delicious. I'll take 2 more.
There are all the pops! Look!
New Jello Gelatin Pops in orange, cherry, and strawberry.
They're irresistible.
Welcome to the Nostalgia Little Funhouse. Today, we are going to go back in time once again, to talk some Little Rascals, but specifically the movie. But I'm sure we'll touch on the original shorts from the before television had sound, literally.
May the Schwartz be with you.
That's right. Oh, I know why you did that. Yeah. That's Andrew. I'm Johnny. Welcome to the Nostalgia Funhouse. We have a movie review for you today. The Little Rascals came out in what? 1990 something. I don't remember the date.
Give me 1 second here. I got the little Wikipedia page up.
1990
August 5th, 1994. Runtime 82 minutes. Box office earnings $67.3 million. I also read that it was a pretty heavy year, considering that on their opening weekend, they were ranked 4th place behind Clear and Present Danger, The Mask, and Forrest Gump.
Wow.
So they were up against a lot.
Yeah. Yes, they were.
So, Johnny, you got any, you watch probably more of the R Gang shorts.
I used to stay with my grandparents a lot, and they would watch. That's how I watched a lot of this old television and westerns and stuff like that. And we did watch some of these. I went back and watched a couple because they're on YouTube, and I would rather watch Three Stooges now. Just going to say that.
Is it because they didn't age well, or
it's just that it's. It just wasn't, it didn't feel like it flowed very well for me. I don't know what the correct. I tried watching 2 of them and I was like, yeah, they were fine for what they are. But
anything's got to be better than that 1940s Batman movie that Chris sent me.
I don't know. Try watching some of those shorts.
So my first introduction to Little Rascals is Saturday Night Live, and if anybody knows what that means, Eddie Murphy doing buckwheat, and he was okay.
Yeah.
One of the memorable skits was Alfalfa came back and shot buckwheat,
which is really ironic.
Yes,
very ironic. Just a little background info here. The original Little Rascals, or Our Gang, was around, started in the 20s and went up before television had sound. They were silent shorts, basically silent films, and then they actually lasted up until you did have sound. It's all if you've never seen it, it's all little kids, and whatever humor you can get from that. Alfalfa was probably one of the most famous ones. He had a distinct look with like his hair, a couple strings of his hair would stick straight up. It's a very iconic look. But that guy, who was famous then, would go on and get shot not once but twice. The first time he was shot at when he was in his car, and he lived through that, and they never found the person who shot at him. The second time, he got in a fight with somebody over gambling or bet or something to do with money, and that person killed him, and that person did not go to jail because the jury found that homicide to be justifiable. So that's how that person's life went. Pretty wild stuff. But this movie comes along, and they throw a lot of stuff in this movie. There's so many just out of nowhere. If you don't know, if you go in this just cold, there's a lot of people who just show up out of nowhere that you're like, oh, I know who that is. Norm! There's all kinds of people just show up for little small bit parts.
That's great. I know Matt.
I love that. Yeah.
Because of Reba. And I think this is probably one of the only time where you could see Whoopi and Donald Trump in the same movie.
They obviously didn't film this the same day though, because they're nowhere near each other.
No,
which is totally understandable. The other reason I knew about this movie, Andrew, is behind the curtains here. My mom, ginormous Reba fan, always has loved Reba. So we are a Reba family, I will say. So we definitely saw this movie when it came out.
Mrs. Townsend, I've always liked Reba, other than Matt, who doesn't like Reba.
And she's great in this, by the way.
Yes, I love Reba. Just to go over a couple of what are they? Like the cameos that you'll see. Raven Simone, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Mel Brooks is great. Leah Thompson, Daryl Hannah, and George Wendt.
Yeah. Norm. Yeah.
Norm. But are you ready to talk about the Little Rascals movie?
Let's do it. Let's get into this. Little Rascals, let's get into it.
Throughout history, men have formed secret societies based upon loyalty, fraternity, and one unbreakable rule.
No girls allowed.
Now, one such institution
We're heathen woman haters.
is in serious jeopardy.
You are so beautiful. Whoa. No.
The Little Rascals. Universal Pictures invites you to meet Alfalfa,
Figaro, Figaro.
Spanky,
Let her rip. Whoa.
Darla,
You have the sophistication, I'm waiting, of a woman of 12.
Buckwheat,
Quick, what's the number for 911?
Froggy,
What's the high sign? Wrong sign, Porky.
Stymie,
If you were my kids, I'd punish you.
If we were your kids, we could punish ourselves.
and Petey. These kids have their differences, but when love is in the air,
This is a song about a tragic romance. I'm gonna put that fool out of his misery.
they all have what it takes to be little rascals. From the director of Wayne's World and the Beverly Hillbillies, the Little Rascals.
Alfalfa, this is a side of you I never seen before.
Playing this summer
Sounds good to me.
at a theater near you.
Overall, Andrew, I thought some of the jokes and gags in this were actually pretty good.
I thought so too. I know they were like I was reading stuff that it's hard to take a bunch of shorts,
Yeah.
and make it into a full length movie. Do you want to get into the story at all?
The gist of it is Well, first of all, that's one of my first notes here. Is the movie sort of assumes you already know who all these kids are?
Yes.
They does it like again. This is something from the 30s that's being played in the 90s, so that's assuming a lot.
I don't
There's
think
no real introduction here. Alfalfa sort of gets one, but other than that, they just kind of throw you in.
I feel like though, like a lot of at this point, people our age or even older, would kind of know these people because my dad used to call my oldest son Spanky.
Yeah, yeah, which is a
It-
character's name on here.
yeah, it's good old Spanky McFarlane. But pretty much it starts with they are in a club, the He-Man Woman Haters Club. They all hate women, even though they're
Yeah.
like 7. Alfalfa's in love with a girl named Darla.
Yeah, all these kids are like between the ages of 5 and 7. It should be my guess.
Yeah. And Darla ends up getting swooned by Waldo, which I got some things about that.
Yeah, by the way, that is not Macaulay Culkin, just so you know.
And their clubhouse burns down as a secret date between Darla and Alfalfa. So they need to raise money to get their clubhouse, rebuilt. And pretty much the little side thing is Alpha trying to get Darla back while the rest of them are trying to rebuild their things. There's 2 bullies, Butch and Manoy, and they steal their prized go-kart, the Blur. So they have to make up another one to win the prize money from the Derby to be able to
Get the supplies to rebuild their clubhouse.
yes.
Yeah. There's your flip. We don't need a big plot for this anyway, so that kind of works for what this is. This is way more about the gags and stuff you can put in here, and I think overall, a lot of the jokes work. I really did enjoy, like there's little subtle jokes that they put in this too, like the whole scene where they did the whole famous 2 kids in a suit to make them look like adults.
Yeah,
and they look like what are they called?
Hasidic Jews.
Thank you. Yeah. But when and that's the part with a very famous "May the Schwartz be with you," but the little subtle joke after that is when they leave that bank, there's 2 guys who walk up who look just like them. I did laugh at that.
Yeah, because I did put down in my notes. I love the old time comedy with a modern feel, and I felt like the Three Stooges movie did that good as well too. Where
yes, I did enjoy that movie as well.
I did, even though a lot of people hate it, but I enjoyed it. Now the one thing that always gets me is when Waldo and Darla are talking, and he says that his father just bought the oil refinery.
Yeah,
and she's like, "That's why you must be so refined." And Alfalfa's like, and so oily. That gets me every time. I have no idea why.
I really love. Oh, by the way, the acting it's little kids. So just know that going into this, it's little kids acting. It's not the best, but
when you watch the blooper reel at the end, you can appreciate
the
rest of the movie.
My favorite joke in this though is when the clubhouse catches on fire. And the 2 of the Little Rascals go to try to call the fire department, and they're trying to call 911 at a payphone, which don't exist anymore, really. And they finally get there. The obvious joke is, "What's the number for 911?" They can't remember it. I was like, "Ha ha ha!" But the best part of that though is they pan out and they're calling this right in front of a fire station.
See, I like the bucket.
The bucket's great. Yeah,
because you knew what it was gonna be, but as a kid, you didn't.
Yeah.
And this movie, and the other thing too, to me, this was always like, I feel like in middle school and high school was like the movie that they just put on in class because you had to watch something like towards the end of the year, or you got like a day, and it was a funny movie, but it was not like anything crazy. It's not up there with the other kids' movies like RoboCop and Predator, but
well, how could it compare to those? It's not even a fair competition.
The cat litter when they're sabotaging. The cat litter. Oh, I gotta look.
That was gross. That was very gross.
And my other big note is Waldo is a stalker.
Oh well, yeah, 100%.
He shows up out of nowhere.
He's always there.
His dog attacks Alfalfa in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, why is your dog just out on the side of the road without a leash on? Is there not leash laws where they're at? And then all of a sudden, when the clubhouse burns down and Darla's sitting there, and how come Darla's not helping? Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Get up, get to work.
Yeah. She wasn't against any of that for a while. Yeah. Side note for me, did you think these kids kissed a little bit too much?
Yeah, I think
I mean, 5 and 7-year-old.
I think back then there was an innocence.
Yes, I'm not saying they're sitting there Frenching each other.
No, but I think there was a little bit more of a sweet, weird Americana Norman Rockwell type of thing.
I agree, but it's just a lot of like lip to lip kissing for little kids.
Yeah. But I think it was kind of like one of those things where it was that, and in today's world, it would be like, this is almost pre-internet pretty much. There's not too many people that have internet in 94. So,
yeah.
I mean, you don't have the pedos or anything sitting there on YouTube rewinding or, busting a tape for this or anything.
I'm glad you said tape.
I know. I know. I wasn't going to say the other one. But I knew once I said it, I was hoping that we were just going to go by.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun jokes here. A lot of really some goofy stuff. Andrew, I gotta say, overall, I did not hate this movie.
Oh, I didn't at all. I think this is still a great. I think it's a great family fun movie, even though most kids won't know what a payphone is. I know I showed this to my kids and they enjoyed it. It's just a fun.
And how long is this movie, Andrew?
82 minutes.
Exactly. This one knows not to overstay its welcome.
And it didn't. I felt it flowed properly. It keeps you engaged. It has a bunch of funny things. I think it's very well set for a parent because of the cameos that are in it. You're like, oh, Daryl Hannah, Splash, Leah Thompson.
Yeah. Oh, a president. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, future president was a Little Rascals. So this is the second president actor that we've ever had.
Who was the first? I don't remember.
Reagan was an actor.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But I mean, in fairness, Trump was way more known for not acting, but for being rich.
This is how much of a Cheers fanboy I am. Out of all of them, George Wendt is the best. And I think he was great too when they bring up the money.
Yeah, he brings it. Like, how much will this get us?
Yeah. And he like just picks a sample piece off of the board. And he's like, would you like paper or plastic?
Yeah. I'm a giant Mel Brooks guy, so I was very happy to see him pop up. And of course, Reba. I will always love Reba.
I think he just plays a good villain, Mel Brooks, because
he does. Yeah.
I liked it when he was doing the loan application. And he's like father of 6, pays his bills on time, very well, good guy. Loan denied.
I like where he goes, say, what's your account number? 6.
Yeah, and they're like 7.
Yeah. He's like, try 8.
It reminds me of him Big. When he's like, what's my social security number? And he gives it to him and he's like, it's my locker combination. And then the guy's like, you're missing a number. And he's like, oh, and he just shouts one out. What a time to be alive where you could just make up a social security number and it would be like perfectly fine. Today it would be like coming back in like 2 seconds that it wasn't a real social security number.
I kind of miss the days where phone numbers were all started with 555.
Yeah. That
was always fun
style.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. At the end of this, and I did kind of see this, somebody made a comment on Facebook too about this subject. Do you prefer blooper reels at the end of movies like this one has, or do you prefer like the mid credits that we've come accustomed to?
Oh, great question. For me, it depends on the film. For a comedy like this, blooper reels is how you should go.
Okay.
100% do blooper reels for this. If you're talking like your action movies and stuff, if you're definitely going to do more films, or if you want to do like some fun little Easter eggs for people who are into whatever that subject is, that's when you do that. Like those Marvel movies makes complete sense why they do it, right?
Yeah.
So I've never been mad at that, and some of those are actually end up being cooler than the movie sometimes. But for comedies, I love a good blooper reel in a comedy at the end. I always will always love that.
I haven't seen a good blooper reel in a while. Oh, I also do like when because there's a kid that just says
Yeah, when he finally says, "Oh, I have actually quite an extensive
vocabulary.
vocabulary."
But I think everything was good in this. I think the bullies were modern, but yet old timey kind of bullies.
Yeah, and they were they didn't say anything that get them canceled today, which is good.
Oh,
Also, I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like usually in these movies, a bully would say something, you know, that you probably couldn't say today. But I, I, this is just a fun, goofy movie that doesn't overstay its welcome.
no, this is a movie that you, like I said, you could, if you're have kids or you're gonna watch kids and you're like, hey, this is streaming, you just put this on and will have no problem with them have
Yeah, because
seeing something inappropriate,
right?
Anything like
The
that.
gags come quick and fast. They just like me. And which is not appreciated when it should be, just so you know, ladies. I don't overstay my welcome either. This the other thing too is when the movie starts and they're all about hating women. The reason that works is because at the end they completely change.
Yes. Well, because you're gonna get to that. Sorry.
Yeah, Reba actually ends up being the very famous derby driver that they all looked up to. They didn't know that was a lady. So and Darla helps them, and Darla actually saves them in the race.
Yes, because she ditches Waldo. And
Yeah.
I like it when Spanky says AJ Ferguson in the beginning as he points to the sign.
Yeah, and he doesn't
why.
point. He doesn't actually point to the name.
Yeah.
You notice that?
He's like AJ Ferguson. I bet that was one of the takes where they were like, just screw it, print it. He actually said everything perfectly fine. Just screw it, take it.
Yeah.
And Porky and Buckwheat steal the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's not.
They look like they work because they look like two little kids having a great time.
Yes, with the nickel for a pickle, and he's like, "I'll give you 2 cents," or the "I got $1." I think there's just so many classic ones, like in the beginning when they connect hooks when they're fishing and they're each other over.
Yeah, I love that.
Comes.
Yeah, Petey the dog is great in this as well.
But they steal the show. Even if you just were like, I don't like this. I don't think anybody could hate this movie just purely and be like, but without you saying Porky and Buckwheat were just great. Those two were awesome together.
I will say too, the casting overall, just from the looks of these characters, they did a fantastic job. You can compare these to the original kids and be like, oh man, they did a really good job here.
Yeah, they did a wonderful. All the way to Petey. How did they get Petey back that quick?
Yeah.
Because he played himself.
He does. You get a great shot of his balls.
Did you do the Bill Burr skit there? You know what I haven't seen? It's not something I haven't seen in a while. Balls on a dog.
It's in this movie.
So if you like balls on a dog,
this is the film for you.
Have you seen the sequel to this?
There's a sequel? I didn't know there was one.
It's so new that it's straight to DVD, 2014, Little Rascals.
2014?
2014, Little Rascals Save the Day.
Is that streaming anywhere? I didn't even know this existed.
Let me see.
I'm very curious about this. There's no way it's near as good as this one.
No, I looked at the movie poster and it looks horrible. Like you could tell they just were like, this is definitely straight to DVD. This is up there with the second Sandlot.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I'm gonna send to you this picture.
Okay. Yeah. Second Sandlot cannot compare to the first one, so I know what you mean there.
Oh, I don't even know. Why am I go? So this is, well, I'm sending this picture. This is not streaming anywhere for free. Like you can get it on Amazon Prime and pay for it, but I don't believe
Yeah.
this is
If I'm not going to pay for Ghost of Mr. Chicken, I'm not paying for this.
no. Here's the movie poster.
All right, he has sent me the movie poster. Oh yeah, that looks awful.
They don't even look good.
No,
Like I'm guessing there's buckwheat. He doesn't look as good. Alfalfa. Like they don't look anywhere half as good as they did. And I understand this is straight to DVD or whatever, but
yeah,
come on, do a little bit of casting.
yeah. At least try,
All right.
man. All
So
right,
who would you play?
that's a great question.
Now I think we got to pick a kid.
Oh yeah,
Pick a
obviously,
kid.
yeah.
You're young little Johnny looking to earn a buck in Hollywood so you can pay for your Ninja Turtles.
I'm probably a Spanky, don't you think?
Uh, yeah, but can you hate that many women?
No,
Would be Spanky because you stand next to Reba.
that's right. I'm a Reba stan for sure.
I think, geez, I always enjoyed Froggy, but
Yeah, Froggy's great.
see, I would want to be. I like Spanky too.
Well, I'll be Alfalfa, you be
No,
Spanky, and we'll.
why? Because you're always
I can't
going
wiggle my
after
ears
women.
though.
We
Yeah,
could both be Spanky. I like Spanky. I don't feel like Stymie as club's vice president was had a very big role in this either.
no, not really.
Also, wasn't all the ARG? I heard a rumor that all the R gang kids were orphans and they were owned by the studio. Is that true?
I know Alfalfa wasn't because I was, like I said, I was trying to remember all his story before I got on here so I could talk about it. He even got in Hollywood with his brother because his parents took him there because they thought that cause they wanted to do that. So they definitely weren't orphans,
I've heard
or at
some
least he wasn't.
wacky
I don't know.
stuff.
I can't speak for the others.
I don't know. I've heard like just absolute wacky stuff. So, but I figure we can rate this out of Azugas because I love that part.
Yes, yeah, yes. Azukas.
Those,
Uh,
hey, nice Azugas. I I give this four Azugas out of five. I don't think it's the most perfect movie, but for what
no, no.
it comes across as, it hits it. And like I said, it's just good family fun. It's a good family night where you could just pop it on and just let it play. And if you fall asleep like I used to during movie time, then you don't got to worry about anything crazy.
Yeah, it knows exactly what it is,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of movies make the mistake of not knowing that going in. But this one does. I enjoyed this. I definitely laughed out loud a few times. It had been a long time since I've seen this, and I've forgotten how goofy and fun some of the jokes were. So that I'm going to give us 3.5 out of 5 Azugas. I really enjoyed it. It's very fun. It's a goofy movie again that doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's got Reba in it and Norm.
And Mel Brooks.
And Mel Brooks. Can't go wrong there.
It's good to be the king. So that is our review of the Little Rascals. I know we have a calendar. And what do we got coming up? What is next month? April?
Yes, O'Neill.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. So as long as it's still up on YouTube, we are watching the Jesse Ventura and Roddy Piper TV pilot of the show Tag Team.
Oh, okay. Yes, something I had no idea existed. So,
And Johnny, as we do this, we are going to play TV executives to see if we will pick up this television
I
show.
like this. Yes,
And you
I like
have
this.
to put your Roddy Piper fandom aside.
That would be very tough. He is one of my all-time faves. But I will watch this and I will decide if I would have greenlit this or what changes I would have made.
Yes. Got to go through some notes here. But if you enjoy what we're doing, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Check out our Patreon and, leave us a review if you really enjoy what we're doing here. You got anything else, Johnny?
I just wish I could wiggle my ears as good as Alfalfa can. That was impressive.
That was. I like it. Because did you wind them up? Gotta wind it.
That must be what my problem is.
Yeah. And what may not be nostalgia for you may still be nostalgia for some.